Sunday night, Stokesy's batting and he's going to fight. Neser nicks him off and Stokes punches himself in the head as he walks off. Is Neser in your combined 11? It's 2-0 Australia, and the only team worse than the BBC viewers' combined 11 is England itself as a whole. It's another all-time Monday morning for Australians. Every podcast, every article, every Insta reel, every tweet, every close-up video being filmed of a bloke from the Barmy Army of him texting his mates back home saying how shit this is. It's been months and months of England suck off, and now the exact same people are bemoaning just how fucking soft and mediocre this team is. We get to hear, even in a moment where you just think, wow, can England cause some chaos here in the final session? Can they leave some scars? And as it turns out, all we get is the Barmy Army embarrassing themselves by booing the greatest test player of this generation while being dressed up as guys on the Epstein list. And then the captain gets to say, you bowl fast when there's nothing going on, champion. 5-0, fuck off. I am absolutely melting, Pezza.
Yeah, well said, Higgins. And hello, Australia mainly. Hello, sadomasochistic English fans and everybody else. You've come to the right place if you want masochism, because that's what you're going to get. Now, here's what's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours as the media and everybody else attempts to retain some hope for the next 3 tests. A period of, let's say, 2 to 2.5 hours was observed by 2 English players where they played cricket with a modicum of application. Those 2.5 hours are going to be held on to tightly as a new blueprint for England over the next 3 tests. If only we played like that all the time, we might be able to beat these. Now, you can't decide now after 4 years that hard-nosed rhinoplasty-based cricket matters. And what's for sure is you can't change now and go up against our throbbers who grew up cradle to fucking grave with hard-nosed rhinoplasty-based cricket on our country and go, might defend now. Might respect a decent ball once every so often. You're going to get fucking pumped if you try and do that. You've come this far, you've sucked yourselves off for 4 years, and now you can enjoy the fruits of that. Okay? I love me little bit of entertainment. I didn't say that.
Accents, okay.
Sorry.
It's an accent-based podcast.
I'm sorry. You know, you have spent the last 4 years honing a delusionally extreme mono-style approach which has been designed to essentially build a statue to 1, if not 2 people, where for these people, it wasn't enough that they play their own way. Everybody else has to be like them too. You've come this far. You cunts will see it through. Okay? Don't go changing now. You fucking told us for so long how good this was. None of us could get into your 11. None of us couldn't get into your combined teams with the WTC or whatever the fuck it is, and obviously that hurt us greatly. You've inoculated yourself. You have insulated yourself from any critique, and you've dismissed any critique as noise. And as being outside the bubble. You don't get to fucking change now. You don't get to hold on to this fight. You don't get to hold on this fight where basically you took it on. Like Neser came up and said, okay, yeah, you want to play persistence? You want to play persistence and patience against me at the Gabba? Good luck, championship. Okay? And you certainly don't get to bowl 150k rockets when no one gives a fuck what's going on and then come and sledge one of the greatest of all time. Fuck, that was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to do it. It was embarrassing to get hit for 6 afterwards, and then have to cop some weird V thing that Smith was doing. None of us know what that. None of us know what that was. Okay. But that's what it is.
At the other end, Weatherall's probably just going, easy, boy, easy. He's already blown my toe off a couple of times. Easy, Smudger. Yeah, I would recommend looking up Kemar Roach against Jacques Callis when the same thing happened. South Africa were about to win by a week and a half, and Kemar Roach goes, you know what? I'm going to start competing now, and that's just one of the great, like England had a chance to bowl with a brand new ball under lights and maybe just take 3 wickets or maybe just create a few more demons moving to the next test. Maybe not. Pink ball is a unique situation, I suppose, in lots of ways. And instead what happens is these cunts manage to even fucking embarrass themselves in that moment. And it's an absolute cringe fest. And I get to just fucking wallow in this gloriousness that is Australian twos being 2-0 up with 800 test wickets, as you were saying last night, Pezza, coming back into the side. I mean, as an Australian, if I'm not fucking singing the national anthem on top of my roof tonight, then, what's the point of cricket? You don't need to save the game here. It's the national conversation. When you get off the plane after flying business class for 24 hours next time and you complain there's a journalist asking you a question, why don't you suck my dick, you weak fucking cunts? Okay, I've lost it now. Just settle down. I'm sorry. I'm emotional. Okay, I'm emotional. I apologise. I've taken it too far.
Fuck it. Nah, these guys have been enthralled to their own genius for so long, heavily enabled by a lot of people in England who are now turning on them. You don't get to fucking turn on them now. You double down. Half of the Barmy Army standing up singing at the end of the game, like that's some sort of fucking achievement, while old fucking P Hart decides to bowl a few thunderbolts with the game over. Good stuff.
Where were you in the first innings championship?
Yeah, as Skull said, it's a first grader to a sixth grader. Fucking spare me. Take your pillow, Joff. Have a kip. Very good.
Anyway. Yeah, and anything can happen in these last 3 games. You
can't fucking turn on the discipline for 2.5 hours and go, yeah, you're not going to match our mature hard bodies. It's kind of homoerotic, You are stuck with your soft, wet-eyed delusions. Take your wet eyes, and we'll see you in Adelaide, and decide what you want to play there. Have a couple of rounds while you're at it. This will be good.
I hope our team wins every game forever for the rest of my life.
They better.
Anyway, let's talk about Neser, Pezza. Let's talk about Neser. Okay. I mean, every team needs a South African, and Australia's got theirs. I've got a couple, I suppose. No one will ever not be happy for Michael Neser, who's been the next cab for most of his career. A few guys were leapfrogging in that time, but he's just he's a cricketer that will never ever let you down. He gets a bag in front of his family, what I wouldn't give, and he says to Isha at the break that his sister's at the Gabba and he hasn't seen her for a year and a half. Obviously a fake fan. Where was she during the hard times? Exactly. Cam Ponsonby tweeted last night, England spent years not picking from the county championship because it's different to the test game, and now they're all getting out to a 35-year-old seamer with the keeper up. And that's some of Cam's finest work for me. George Bailey will still have his head attached to his shoulders tonight instead of on the end of a long sharpened stick. But today, Michael Neser gets the day for Australia that his professional career deserves. And don't listen to the people that want to skin him and wear him as a suit and pretend like they're playing for Australia. This is Michael Neser's day. It's Michael Neser's day. He is outstanding. If England played 10% better, they probably should have picked the spinner, but they didn't. And Neser is fucking excellent today. Excellent today, Pezza.
I can only echo what you say. To speak about the X's and O's of the actual spell that he bowled, I mean, this is a fifer born of like graft in the sun on a deck that had stopped misbehaving with a 60-over-old ball that nobody else could get a tune out of. And you had 2 English bats who looked like Test cricketers for a period of time. It is, in all seriousness, like what Stokes and Jacks were doing looked like the kind of cricket that, if you can continue, will present more challenges to Australia and will expose some of the lack of quality that and the cracks within the Australian side that we've seen for a while. Australia had to graft. Neser bowled better than all of them. I mean, to speak personally, and Neser is just equivalent to wholesomeness. I was watching the game with my 7-year-old and explaining to him how in cricket, if you manage to bowl accurately in a way where they can't go forward and can't go back and they can't score runs, usually someone will make a mistake and you can get a wicket. And he was watching Neser and going, oh no, he can't score off that, he can't score off that. And we were in his spell with him. And he deserved those wickets so much. He cracked the game open for Australia. I mean, let's have it right. Stokes has given us demons and will forever. When people had already started to whisper, he looks locked in. Look at his body language. He means business today. I know that's a lot of media willing further content to sell to advertisers in dystopian reality, but it is true. England were always only like another hour or two away from being back in this game. And on this occasion, Neser was the one to just ensure it for Australia in what was their toughest period of bowling, I think, since this Ashes series started. He absolutely deserves his time in the sun. He can hang on to this forever, a special fifer to help Australia go 10-0 up in the Ashes. It's fitting that someone known for his persistence and patience cracked open the game for his country with precisely those values today. He totally deserved the Will Jacks wicket. He totally deserved the Ben Stokes wicket. And a shout out to Alex Carey as well, and yep. Steve Smith. Fielding, catching, windows to the soul, etc. England have a couple of guys who lock in occasionally. Australia's been locked in, the entire test. Everybody's contributed to this, but it's so great that Michael Neser gets his time. God, he's had to wait so much for so long, and it's just on a pretty unresponsive wicket. He got it done for Australia.
Just to think about in his career, because he has been in the squad for ages, and it's not quite Andy Bickle areas where like the most 12th man appearances in the history of Test cricket or whatever that record was, but it's like he's just been like they've just liked him for so long, and you see it because he's a guy that will never let you down. He's played three ping pong Test matches, the opportunities that he's been given, and today's a day where he near enough. Stark's the player of the game, but he contributes significantly to a win when it was hard yakka. Pattinson leapfrogged him as next cab. Jai Richardson leapfrogged him. Boland leapfrogged him as well, but he's remained in the squad for ages because he's got a set of skills which is just incredible, and you see that with his fielding as well. I think he was picked, to lengthen the batting, and he actually ended up with a second lowest score behind Doggett. But then takes two great caught and bowls last night, cracks open the game, and under the pressure of Nathan Lyon not being picked, I guess Doggett was picked ahead of him as well, given that he tore his Neser tore his hamstring off the bone last year, then was 12 months out. So, how frustrating that must be for a guy. We often think about in Australian cricket about how many great batters have been, especially in the era of the 90s and 2000s. Your Brad Hodges, your Martin Loves, your Stuart Laws, your Jamie Siddons or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Neser's right up there with another guy who's just been incredibly unlucky not to play because the guys in front of him have either been, wheels or the greatest that the country's ever produced. Completely agree with Alex Carey. His contribution to Neser's bowling, landing it on an A4 sheet of paper for near enough an hour and a half, allowed him to lock in, allowed him to get that up and down bounce. I would say like in the 2.5 hours that Australia bowled, it's not like there was a lot doing. There was some variable for sure, and it looked tough to score. But there was no sort of blowing front pads off. There wasn't a hell heap of playing missing. But Carey's contribution to allow Neser to bowl and the skills that he showed up to the stumps to keep the batters pinned to the crease is a really significant contribution. And the catch he takes, by the way, off Stokes, 130 Ks or whatever, or 117 Ks or whatever he's bowling. Back foot, edge, that's up there with one of the hardest catches he can take as a keeper. But Smith's catch, of course, to get rid of Jacks is just a fucking worldie. And he's got, how many catches has he got? Heaps. 410 or some shit.
He's got 210 and he went equal with Rahul Dravid. I follow those kinds of stats. That tactic of Carey keeping up to Neser, and please, if the AFP aren't already outside my house, then somebody please call them. But obviously, It's a shame. It's an optic that destroys your reputation for the rest of your life. I'm surprised his sister stayed in the ground seeing it, but it's a shame because aside from that, it was such a legitimate tactic, given that the way England, one of the chief ways that England batters place pressure back on bowlers is to walk at them. And the skill of Alex Carey to permit Michael Neser to bowl like that just goes to show what an absolutely pragmatic, material, substantial approach that was to ensure that they didn't receive the pressure that England wanted to place on them. You do worry about what we've seen with Boland in Perth in the first innings, for example. When England do move around the crease, they can knock you off your lengths, and you don't get to lock in and do the thing that you do. Not to be confused with That Thing You Do, which is a Tom Hanks movie. So yeah, I'll go back to the original point. I never want to see it again in my life. Even if you take 5 for 42 with the Ashes, whatever it is. I just have that right, but yeah, it was. That was hard nosed Test cricket for the first part of today. It was getting harder for Australia. I thought that Stokes and Jacks were batting really well. I just wanted to say, if we move on to that, I thought Will Jacks was batting better than Ben Stokes. I thought he looked fucking sensational, really, for a guy that's he's not a number 8, obviously, but it is what happens when you get some placidity in the decks, and you are willing to trust your defence and, take advantage of bowling that is overpitched or offers width, which the Aussies occasionally do. Now, Boland doesn't do it often. Neser was too locked in today. Doggett offered a little bit, and they were taking advantage of it. Stark always does, if he hasn't got the ball moving. And he looked gassed today, Stark.
Yeah, tight,
so... I thought Jackson Stokes were batting really well. I actually thought Stokes looked even though he stayed in and he was doing his captain leader legend like John Terry thing, he still looks like he's lacking fluency with the bat. Whereas I thought Will Jacks controlled his tempo really well, and it is a blueprint for them, but it's too late. It's a blueprint for the next Ashes out here, I think.
Mate, what about every time England come out to Australia in recent times, they've regularly been in the game until they're not. It's and it doesn't even feel like necessarily that Australia just go up a gear. It just feels like they just wait for a mistake, and England's just continue to make mistakes. This Ashes so far has been a very extreme set of mistakes, you would say. But mate, what about if they come to the ground today 4 or 5 down instead of 6? Look, Neser is outstanding, and it's not even about him. Maybe what I want to say is Australia, I think, should have picked a spinner in this game, but England don't punish them enough to make that true, because they've won the game by 8 wickets. But how often were you looking at today and thinking this is Nathan Lyon time, and it doesn't really matter, because it always felt like you get 1 wicket and the next will crumble. And that's funny to say, because Atkinson and Carson, Archer can all bat, but it probably happened a bit quicker than what you were expecting, especially given how well Stokes and Jacks did bat. But mate, if one more batter's at the crease last night, it just looks like it's all of a sudden quite interesting. Now, you could say the same thing about England's catching. 2 nights ago, when Carey's dropped, Neser's dropped as well. England's could have found themselves in a much stronger position right now. But what happens in Australia is that they always fall over. Something always happens, and it's a pattern, And I think we've been pretty consistent here. I don't mind what they're trying to do in terms of bringing something different to Australia. What they've been feeding to the media is hilarious in terms of how they talk about themselves. But at 2-0, it is difficult to see, with Australia getting so much stronger, you would suspect. How things change, because unless someone actually has a day out, it's difficult to see how England perform well enough as a team to beat the percentage-based nature of Australian cricket in Australia. You know what I mean?
I reckon if George Bailey's having a beer tonight, he's entitled to look at a team that's won by 8 wickets at the Gabba. Neser's involved, and Neser's come in for Lyon. I mean, Doggett was the incumbent. Maybe it wasn't, but he's come in with the bat and been part of a 50-run partnership, and he's taken time out of the game. That's allowed others to bat against more tired bowlers.
Absolutely,
and he's taken Pfeiffer when it was looking like pretty decent sailing for England. I think if you're Bailey, you're entitled to go, well, it was a reasonable selection.
We've won again. Yep.
Yeah, and look, that Nathan Lyon hasn't had a chance to show what he would have done in the game. Obviously, that's the nature of the counterfactual. But it was a tough call. It was a tough call, and they won. Make no mistake. One thing goes wrong for Australia, it's heads on pucks. But yeah, I mean, you look at the Aussie team, every Aussie player contributed. Two's Cartel stood up. Kratz, Carey were incredible. Harry, Head, top of the order, 70-plus run stand, sets a platform and allows everybody else to get into the game. That's a massive tick. Jake Weatherald's into the series. Neser 5 for 42, second innings, daytime. And Doggett and Neser will drop out of the team, and Cummins and Lyon will come in probably.
Just a quick word to our sponsor of this video, Pezza, NordVPN. You can go to nordvpn.com/TGC to get your subscription started today. And don't forget, there is no risk to you with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, they'll issue a refund. Check it out, nordvpn.com/TGC to get your subscription started today. Easy for me to say because I'm dumb and a coward. Now, if you're also a coward and you want to hide where you are in the world, NordVPN, that's exactly what it's for, If you're in a place, for instance, where you need to upload your passport to access certain websites, well, you can just change your location to a country where you don't need to do that. As an example, I'm not referencing anything there in particular. I'm just telling you that's what a VPN can do for you. And NordVPN is the best VPN, especially if you go to nordvpn.com/TGC. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about the future, I suppose. Adelaide Test match starts whenever it starts, week and a bit, I guess. Wednesday week, I think it might be. You guys already know. You guys know numbers better than me and calendars, and the Gregorian calendar specifically. Now, Australia probably should get stronger. I suspect that we have somewhat sadly seen the end of Usman. Difficult to see a way back in. I guess if Archer picks up Weatherald in a similar manner to what he has done so far in the series with that sort of really full delivery, then maybe there's a way back in for Aussie. But I mean, I don't see it. I mean, the team looks. Everyone seems to play better, and with the current setup so far, it should be said. At the same time, I cannot believe how much depth is in Australian cricket. All of a sudden, I mean, Jai Richardson's taken 4 for Australia A. Sydney McSweeney's just got a double ton. Conster scored 100. Cummins is back. Is Neser ahead of Doggett now? Lyon is around. I mean, I understand. I'm just going to keep making the same point about Lyon, but yeah, all of a sudden, Australia versus Australia A, 1994 is back on.
Yeah, guess so. Yeah, I mean, I think Bailey was clear about Nathan Lyon and he'd come straight back in. It was just a pink ball Gabba thing. That's probably worked out, to be honest. But anyway, Australia gets stronger. I think, Alex, we were fed, but we weren't. We didn't feast when it came to the hundreds. But Alex Carey did make the point that Australia did make 511 with a bat, and it doesn't really matter how you get there. So, guys, it's working. That order worked. That model worked. There's still some chat out there about whether people like Travis Head opening the batting. That's fine. I mean, we live in a grass is greener society, really. He's going to look great wherever he isn't, but especially if he's nicking off or whatever. But, that model really worked. Cam Green had it, Cam Green must be getting closer to an innings of substance at home. There's way more strength at number 6 in Australian cricket than there is atop the order, and the way Head plays, particularly when it comes off, it just gives Marnus and Smith that much more breathing room as well. So, I think they'd be mad to be changing it. So everything coming up Australia with the blade. And yeah, I mean, Cummins comes back and he's had an extra week. You know, that like they've not risked him, and Australia's 2-0 up. You know, maybe we get news that Hoff's good too. Maybe good news will last forever.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we will, but maybe good news will last forever. Is all I'm saying. I mean, it's the same. It's the same situation as last Test match. Like England are more broken now, definitely, but mathematically they're still good. It'd be the biggest turnaround in the history of cricket. But they can mathematically speaking.
Yeah.
You know, and they've got time to go away and to refresh and get serious and positive. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do go to the well with some new players. You know, I'd imagine Tongue gets a game now. I imagine Pope's position in this team will come up.
Is Wood fit? Is Wood possible? I mean, I'm not sure how injured he was. I thought it might have just been some tightness in the string there. I'm not sure, but I mean, Cass has struggled. I know Atkinson's numbers. He's only taken 2 for in the series so far, but he has bowled better than that, or 3 for now, I guess. So, yeah, but I suppose with the batting, you know, like Bethel is the blonde thing, which is a new toy. I think he might have got a couple of runs in the A game, but it's like never batted in Australia and no first class hundreds or one first. Has he got one now? He got ODI 100 or something. So it's like it's looking like they might have had that chance in Perth.
The way I don't actually want to pick on Ollie Pope too much. You know, he's probably the lowest hanging fruit at this point, but any of them could be, really. But like the way he batted the other night makes him untenable, in my view. You know, those specific circumstances, as well as Perth, resulting in the way that he, when you take the specific circumstances of that game and observe the way that he played, he's untenable. I don't ever think I've seen a number 3 Test player's wicket called so obviously by everybody before it happened. I mean, Bethel has to come in. There has to be some ritual bloodletting in the side. But we'll see. You know, I mean, I see Stokes has said after the game that Australia's no country for weak men, before clarifying that he wasn't calling his team weak. But well, we're going to get stuff like this now. And I think it should be enjoyed because there's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff for 4 years. And I also think right now I'd have England extremely short price favourites to win the Ashes over there in 2027. So it's enjoy. Just enjoy.
Yeah. All right, AskTGC, unless there's any other business. Gualipa said, why did Smith go proper Millwall on Jofra? Mancad's Anonymous had to turn on NordVPN, mobile data, and incognito mode to watch that Smudge innings. I think that's pretty good. Muzz said, is Ben Stokes' speech still going? Hands across the Nathan Coulton aisle said, best part of all this is Brendan has to tell the England team they did a good job. They did a great job, in fact. They did a great job. So there's that. There's some other good stuff there. Slug. Smudge ran off after that catch like he recognised his favourite model of train just by sound. Which is something I think we can all relate to. Nathan Cleary, chin music. Smith ticking off is the safest thing since being teleported from your car seat to your bed as a kid. Spot on. I saw some other good ones here, Pezza, if you could just bear with me. Can we talk about Sydney McSweeney? There's that. Redundancy pay said, based on body language, is there anyone punter has a lower opinion of on cricket than Brendan McCullum? Well, there must be some punter stuff. Always keen for that. What do we got here? Higgos orienteering compass. For these years, I like Solar Panel Pat leading the side like a good bloke, and then I saw Smudge champ the fuck out of Joff, and it's the safest I've felt since 2007. How bad of a bloke am I?
It's certainly two ways of looking at life situations, two two sides of the coin. I've enjoyed Cummins the last couple of years, and I think his revolution in Australian cricket will have an actual lasting legacy, and it hasn't really been spoken about the way he's managed to get away from the characters that came before, let's say. But Smith's eyes rolling in the back of his head, champing Jofra, then hitting him for 6 before doing the V thing. I'll fucking take it, and I'll enjoy it.
K-pop demon punters said Brendan McCullum thinks England over-prepared. That means I've over-prepared for my shift in the nuclear reactor tomorrow. Brackets, I've got no experience and I live in Chernobyl, and tomorrow is 26 April 1986. Harley Reed's Baggy Green said, have Vic Pole thought about bringing in Smudge to help catch Desi Freeman? Two chats. Higgins apologies to Neser, where is? Yep, that's all fair enough.
I'll apologise as well. I think there was a lot of twos chatting up to the stumps, chat early. I think that's flowers and fair fucks, and everything's coming up Neser.
Yeah. Do I need to triple down and just say we should have played a spinner, or is it just for fucking whatever? I'm wrong and dumb and weak and a coward.
You do it. You do you.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Getting champed by Spectrum Bradman must be the most demoralising way to lose that no amount of moral victories could recover from. Those are the words of some of the people, not necessarily the words of TGC, though it is strikingly in our language.
Look, at the end of this, I've never really associated Jofra with the baseball cultist, self-deluded, self-regarding, Kool-Aid drinking, smoke and mirrors, Wizard of Oz suck off stuff. I've never. No, I've just always thought Jofra bowls extremely fast, and that there have been question marks over the third and fourth spell that I've been a little nervous about, because sometimes you worry if that's exploiting a really nasty archetype. And I have to say that in this test in Brisbane, I thought he came back for his third, fourth and fifth spells really well. He bowled without luck in the first innings, Jofra. Didn't get the figures to go with the stress he was putting the batters under, particularly compared to his mates who were getting carded everywhere. But what he's decided to do to Smith there, the Australian captain, one of the greatest of all time, with 15 runs to get, was fucking bizarre, and it looks fucking bad. And I thought I saw him. He looked a bit stressed afterwards. He looked a bit upset and a bit all over the place. And maybe I hope he regrets it. It's just the dumbest thing to fucking sledge a bloke when you're about to lose, especially when they're good, and then he just fucking pumps you for 6. Just stupid.
Yeah, he'll be getting that pillow and screaming into it tonight. No doubt about that. All right, well, that's the day's play wrapped up. That's this test match done. We'll be back for the main podcast tomorrow. But if you are Australian, or if you hate yourself and you're English, just please do enjoy finding as many podcasts as possible. There's some great ones out there. There's also some not great ones, but just enjoy those as well. Just get every bit of content you can, and just enjoy the trip into work. Just enjoy being at work. Just soaking it all in. I wouldn't focus on it too much. It's in December now. We're all lost to time and Christmas. If those are your proclivities, Christmas being your proclivity. And I guess we'll see you guys on the internet later. Sorry for the things we've said or not, or, your day will come. Your day will come. And when that day comes, fair fucks. See you later.